And we are back. Oh my goodness, that was awful. So our internet ended up going down. For those guys who have been watching the stream, or at least trying to watch the stream ever since the best of 5 between Team Empire and Ninjas in Pajamas, fortunately it was after the game was over, but we had an internet outage for whatever crazy reason. We had an internet outage here, and we ended up losing our internet for a while. Been running around. We're finally getting into our second best of 3 of the day. Well, our first best of 3, but our second match of the day. Balkan Bears Corleone versus Ninjas in Pajamas. Blaze, help me, buddy. I still have a couple of things set up, so I'm just going to put on the draft and let you just talk about whatever your heart's content.
Hopefully it falls on Dota a little bit there, but, you know, I don't think everybody wants to hear about my 6-month-old kid for like 5 minutes straight.
I know you could talk for 5 minutes straight about your 6-month-old kid. That's the love of a new father, right?
It is. It certainly is. Show them off to the world. But no, we've got a draft on our hands. Ninjas in Pajamas versus the Balkan Bears Corleone. We've got a Queen of Pain Rubik opener from NiP. It's interesting because we really didn't see that much Rubik in their last match, the best of 5 against Team Empire. But here they're up against the Lina the Disruptor. Certainly some good spells to grab. And it's also, in picking it up early in the draft, kind of denies BBC heroes that they would like to pick that would be really good to steal from. I mean, like, oftentimes there's enough of a deterrent not to pick up things like Tidehunter and Enigma, other major big ulti carriers there. So we'll see if BBC go the route of ignoring all those heroes because the Rubik would be too good against them, or just flooding the game with them and making it so that the Rubik has to choose which of his amazing skills to steal. But as far as the bans go, of course, the Troll, the Sniper banned out, as well the Wisp and the Earthshaker. So Lina and the Queen of Pain are going to be the big pickups, but interestingly not the Batrider. Batrider is very popular in the Eastern scene, but here in the Western, slightly lesser valued. And yeah, they're just going to go ahead and let it through to phase 2. And we're going to see Meepo Venge banned out, as well as the Treant and the Drow. So just got this, yeah.
Pretty standard ban away Meepo against Weeha, right? Like, if you want that Meepo, you have to pick it up in the first one too, pretty much. No one will let you have a 3-4 Meepo if you're Balkan Bears anymore. Ever since Weeha was playing it. Padrino also used to play it as I actually got to know Balkan Bears a bit there. They're all really great guys. Met him at MLG Columbus, and they had some funny words to say about Padrino, who used to be their old player. They didn't kick him out or anything. He just had some personal reasons, couldn't really play anymore. But he he plays all the cancer heroes. That is pretty much his play style. So Broodmother, Meepo, anything that you want to classify as cancer or unique in a certain way. Broodmother, very unique hero. Meepo, obviously, super unique. Padrino plays all of those. So even back then, it was still kind of standard to ban away Meepo against Balkan Bears, and of course Weeha, a legendary Meepo in his own right, is constantly seeing that Meepo ban in the 3-4. They're going to go for a Phoenix pickup on Balkan Bears, the Juggernaut grabbed by Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, and I've seen this combo work out pretty well for BBC in the past. What they do is they use the Disruptor, a kinetic field, to zone people away, so they're out of range of attacking the egg, but still perhaps in range of actually its AoE, its radius of effect, and that's going to be the intention of just getting that ultimate out, successfully getting the damage, the stun, without actually risking the Phoenix's life. Ideally, that's going to keep him alive perfectly fine. It's also really good against Juggernaut, because Juggernaut's going to commit an Omni Slash pretty early into the fight, and that's when the egg can go down, and you're assuming that there's only 4 heroes actually able to right-click as a result of that. But they are 2 range heroes right now, Rubik and Queen of Pain. Pretty good attack animations there between the 2. So Phoenix still has to have a pretty good start here, and of course can be lifted out of his Icarus dive by the quick telekinesis. So risky offlaner, to be honest with you, but still in the right hands can do a lot of work, of course. And they're going to combo it up with the Magnus here. So the Wombo combo is alive. Disruptor, Lina, Phoenix, Magnus all have something to offer in the AoE department, but it does mean that Lina's going to be a support, and she's going to be supporting their last core pickup for BBC.
So I kind of feel like with this Magnus pickup, we're obviously running some sort of hard carry, but can be a bit active, and I think the best hero pickup would probably be the Phantom Assassin at this rate. The pure damage of the Queen of Pain is a little bit annoying for the Queen of Pain for the Phantom Assassin to deal with, because she's pretty reliant on that BKB, and you don't want to be dealing with any burst damage to get through that. But I think the Phantom Assassin is pretty strong versus the Juggernaut and works really well synergy-wise with the Magnus, allowing you to farm up ancient stacks and that sort of things. It's just kind of one of those, because you're looking at right now, Balkan Bears have a lot of utility, unless they're running something really funky, like they're putting all three of these heroes, Phoenix, Magnus, and Lina, on core positions, which I highly, highly doubt, because that would be a super early game lineup. We're going to presume this Lina's a support, in which case it's just utility, right? There's a little bit of damage out from Lina, but primarily it's utility out of the rest of these Balkan Bears heroes. So they got to be running just like some heavy damage dealer that is strictly damage and really not much else. And I think Phantom Assassin fulfills that role perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. There are some risks with the hero, of course, but still just being able to emphasize that this is their sole core that's going to be able to carry the game to victory. Yeah, I can't imagine a better hero to carry the game. I mean, obviously, there are some alternatives that would work okay, but not with the tempo that you're talking about. So one thing that I did remember from yesterday when I was casting with Durka, BBC Yapsor, the captain here, is actually an incredible Rubik player. Like, one of the best I've seen. And I mean, maybe it's just the fact that I saw it just yesterday, but he just was playing like a madman, stealing the most amazing spells, getting an Ags out on the hero, which is rare to see. But the fact that Rubik was picked up so early by NiP shows they've been researching, shows they've been planning, preparing for this game, and we'll see exactly what they're going to bring to it as some denial picks, some obviously strong pickups with Era's Juggernaut. We've seen him a few times. Whenever he gets that Bloodlust, he's able to farm so quickly. Mask of Madness, Bloodlust, he goes to double or triple stacked Ancients, clears those out when he has Empower, and those are great. But in this case, Magnus was picked up by BBC, and they're not going to be able to enhance the Juggernaut in that capacity. Just the attack speed, just the movement speed. He'll still farm fast, but not with the multi-steroid action. So Slark's the last pick here. Empowering the Slark, obviously huge with the potential for his ability to steal Essence Shift. And that's going to be just allowing him to stay on target. Huge amounts of damage built up very quickly.
Synergy-wise, how do you think the Magnus... Because, like, I'm looking at this Balkan Bears lineup, and I was looking at... I basically see all these heroes sort of setting up one hero, and that one hero happens to be Slark here, as opposed to a number of other carries. Do you think that the Slark was a wise choice? Does it actually work well enough with primarily the Magnus? Do you think that Empower is good enough with the Slark?
Oh, absolutely. I think that he's still going to be attacking fast. He might not be attacking the target he wants to necessarily, because they have ways to move about against him, like the Queen of Pain blink away, the Axe taunt to control him. That's going to force him onto the wrong target, like for the first few seconds of the fight. But it's still hitting people. It's still stealing essence, and in the end, it's still going to be every single hit him getting 3 agility, which is then enhanced by 50% damage output by that Empower. So overall, I think it's going to be great. And then also, a Slark is a hero that a lot of times you have to commit pretty heavily to in order to guarantee that you're going to kill him off, because otherwise he'll slip through with the Pounce or a Dark Pact, maybe the Shadow Dance. He's going to be able to kind of disengage and force NiP to pursue him. So in order to actually bring him down, you have got to commit everything. But when you do that, you set yourself up for some major AoE, and the other 4 heroes do that expertly.
Seal Kid, is he playing the bait game? It looks like it. He's like, I'm an Ogre Magi, come attack me. And BBC are like, all right, there's no way Seal Kid's playing this far forward without a plan in mind. And he does have several heroes that are rotating behind him. So there's going to be no engagement so far. Seal Kid, they're probably just going to push out against Balkan Bears and try and sneak in the ward. They do end up seeing ward for ward there, I think. Levy was spotted out placing this ward right here. Not sure if he realizes that the ward was placed here, but he should kind of know. If Seal Kid's going in this direction and backing out, it probably means he warded up the pole camp there, and that means Balkan Bears may have the chance to deny it. Now, Yapsor is going to be playing the Lina, Boots versus Lina, to ensure that this top lane does manage to pick up the bounty rune for the Magnus. Hook is going to be playing with the Magnus, by the way. This is their stand-in. They recently dropped Masakari and are now playing with their... I know they've actually kind of needed a mid for a while. In fact, I know Blitz was actually scrimming with them for a while just because they didn't have a mid laner. So he was just kind of helping them out at the time.
Yeah,
So.
I actually got to see Blitz play on support yesterday. He was standing in for them, and it was actually still Hook on the mid. So they had a lot of confidence in their mid, and he actually performed quite well. Like I saw him play like 4 different matches, different heroes every time, and still just kind of showing what he could accomplish in terms of playmaking. But getting the help of the Lina makes this lane a no-brainer. Limp is going to be suppressed pretty early on, and with the bounty rune, Hook got his early bottle. So now he's pretty much got the free lane. Yapstor can rotate down bottom and try to help out the Slark, who's kind of playing 1v3 right now.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about this. Normally, I wouldn't have a problem with this because, like, the aggro try, yes, it's getting the Slark, but Slark can survive, and then the Phoenix should be able to do pretty well in this 1v1 lane, and Phoenix is definitely one of those heroes that I very rarely do I think you should let a 1v1 happen solely because that hero does so much if it gets a good laning phase. But my biggest concern for Balkan Bears is, again, I see their lineup, their whole entire draft is just being a setup for their carry in a way, and if their carry is shut down, if he doesn't have the amount of HP to survive through the basic nukes, if he doesn't have the damage necessary to win the fight, all the setup in the world may mean nothing if the Slark has been completely shut down. So I'm a bit concerned that this aggro try is kind of upsetting Balkan Bear's plan. But then again, there is the offside. As long as the Phoenix does well in the mid game with the levels that he's going to get here, he will be able to find space for the Slark later on.
Yeah, and of course they can always stack up camps between Dark Pact and Empower. He's going to be able to cleave through the neutral creeps really quickly. So
True.
I think just kind of getting him levels for now and then bouncing back with AoE farming and a lot of emphasis on giving him the jungle is going to be all right. It's not ideal, but as long as the Phoenix has a good start, like he said, Trinket Boots into Midas should be the build for him. And after that, he can kind of go and just play like practically a 5 position. He can just say, okay, well, I need nothing else. I'll get items eventually just via Hand of Midas. And he'll be feeling pretty good about himself. And they don't even leave the Ogre bottom, actually. They rotate the Ogre up. It's now a 2v2 on the bottom lane as the Boots Lina makes her way down.
Yeah, this should still be favorable in my mind to NiP unless the Rubik gets caught, right? It can't really go on the Juggernaut because of spin, so I still feel like they're holding sway over this lane. And sure enough, the Seal Kid, he actually comes back down to bottom lane. Again, continuing that pressure on the Slark and making the rotations kind of funky for Balkan Bears and knowing exactly what should they do in this situation.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, I would like to see them just kind of go back to what they were doing, Lina suppressing the Queen of Pain, because as long as you're winning 2 lanes out of the 3, you can feel okay about going into your mid game. And this essentially just becomes an off-lane Slark. This Slark is able to just say, okay, I'm surviving, I'm living, I'll get boots, I'll keep tangoing, and I'll work towards my level 6. At that point, I'm unkillable, and you're able to kind of actually start farming more aggressively. So overall, the fact is they're not going to be able to shut down Era. If they commit the Lina and the Disruptor, that's not going to change. The supports are just not strong enough by comparison to the Ogre, who is just bullying you. And in this context, yeah, I think just keep winning out against the Queen of Pain, just get some stacks rolling for the Slark, and let him just kind of get the rebound a little bit later in the game.
Right. The Axe was farming up a little bit of stacks. He's got plenty of regen and doesn't want to particularly show his face up against the Phoenix now that we have that big increase in damage from Fire Spirit's level 1 to level 2 now. It's a much harder lane now when the Phoenix gets that level 3. Well, that was kind of weird. The Bounty Rune was still there from minute 2 and ends up turning into an invisibility rune as Ogre Magi picks it up. Can't believe that neither team picks up that rune. It seems very odd to me that no one checked it.
Yeah, just not a lot of emphasis on the rune. It's all about the lanes right now, and just as it is, I mean, they're okay with bottle crowing. We see the courier's out. Actually, Ogre sees one. Can he get 2 hits on it, though, is the question. It seems unlikely, but it's still possible. He'll wait. Just distracts Hook. Oh, that's good. You distract him by actually doing some harassment damage to him, and while he knows, you know that he's microing his hero, you might be able to get the 2 hits on the courier. But in the end, it's just gonna be the bottle crow, and the flying courier will give Hook a refresher.
Seal Kid, knowing that nobody went for the bottom rune last time, I think he just went ahead and tried to check out if there was still the rune at top lane. Not there, though. The bounty rune was grabbed by the Magnus earlier. Top 3 CS on the board, all in the favor of NiP. Axe, Queen of Pain, and to top out the board, the Juggernaut at this bottom lane. So things looking quite good in the laning phase, as this is a slight problem of the Disruptor, right, is that he's not a very good rotational hero, and he's not particularly strong in fighting. So running aggro tries is pretty good against him because he can't fight in lane very well. He doesn't give you that kind of power, and he can't really rotate around and get kills very often. It's unlikely, let's put it that way, in the first 1 or 2 levels. So he is going to be paired up with the Absol, and they're going to go for a smoke gank here in the bottom lane. See if they can't get Hanskin. Exist being chased out. They see Hanskin now, going to be able to hit that Light Strike array and run him over. And Exist is actually the one who picks up the first blood. So that helps offset the heavy advantage that NiP have gained in the laning phase. But look at top. They've got Seal Kid rotating around. The call is going to be able to go off, and this brings the Phoenix all the way back. The dive, he is silenced during that situation. He's still taunted in a way, so he can't actually stop the dive. And will unfortunately not be able to stop the dive, and comes right back to the axe.
Nice try.
Yeah, really, really nice pickup there, bringing the Phoenix. Unfortunately, it's not the first blood, and Phoenix still finds his level 5, but it's just a lot of momentum for Ogre and Axe up top there, because as the Axe was in the jungle, the Ogre was taking the lane, and just in general, he's going to be able to build himself up quite a bit. Now, he didn't go for the TP bottom when there was the engagement against the Rubik. He just dropped too quickly, and it's just kind of that smoke play working out. It's kind of the first thing that BBC supports have been able to accomplish this game. Otherwise, the Absol, a few hits of zoning, he's at level 2. He really hasn't done much on this Lina so far.
So the score 1-1 right now. Jesus, that CS lead, just keep going back to it, and it's looking bigger and bigger and bigger. 43 on the Queen of Pain at the 3rd place position. 4th place position is 28-3. Balkan Bears are getting trounced, even though the score is even, right? It is very, very far from it. As NiP are actually 2,500 gold lead ahead already, and are pretty far ahead in experience as well. So it's not just about the CSing. It's also about they're getting more experience out of the situations, whether it's the Axe doing a very economical approach and farming up the jungle, or just more denies. I mean, so many situations.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a triple stack on the Western Radiant hard camp, so that's going to be something that the Magnus or the Slark can tap into. Phoenix too, but I don't think he needs it. And otherwise, really, NiP haven't used the jungle much. I think Lina's killed 3 neutral creeps, and that's about it. And Yapzor has now finally hit level 3. Like, it's a very slow roll. The supports aren't really able to do anything efficiently right now, and we're actually going to see NiP make their first moves towards the mid lane. So this could be some real kill potential with the Sonic Wave, and in the meantime, it's creating space for Axe to finish off the Blink Dagger. Like, the ideal timing to gank an Axe is right before that Blink comes out, but now we're going to be seeing it come out at a great time where it's a level 8 Axe with Blink against a level 3 Lina. Like, it's just like there's so many ways you can jump, get kills, and hit that HP threshold really quickly.
Yep, so things continue to look good for NiP. Levy's going to run into Seal Kid here. Doubt. Well, it looks like he wants to go for a glimpse play, but it's an Ogre. There's not much the Slark can really do to him. Like, he does a bit of magic damage, but not enough to kill the Ogre. And then that armor is going to come into play where the Slark just cannot do enough damage to him. Weeha, is he going to try and go for this kill on Yonosamfan? Looks like it. Yonosamfan shows his face. Now the call comes in, and Fire Spirits is enough. Yonosamfan will end up dying here unless he gets a crazy amount of spins. Weeha, I like that play. Just wants to make sure there's no chance that he spins a bit too much and they get the Culling Blade. So he just pops the egg, ensures the kill onto the Axe, and good pick-off there.
Yeah, definitely. Very nice for the Phoenix to be able to build up that momentum. Just got the Iron Shadow, so won't get charges for it. But just overall, this is the lane that's really been working for BBC. Maybe not in the last hits, but in terms of everything else, Weeha's been doing really well up here. And it's kind of giving them something to work with towards the mid game. I really feel like they might have drafted just a little bit too weakly in the lanes. Like, it's a very clear lane win. And it's because they sacrificed a bit of lane presence so that they could have the mid-game presence with that Disruptor. But Disruptor, it's going to take a while to come online, and it actually might be going down here. Kinetic can only do so much.
TP's in, Balkan Bears. Can they actually turn this one around? Weeha is here with the Fire Spirits, but there's too many members of Ninjas in pajamas, even if it is a full 4 versus 4, obviously.
Oh.
They don't have all their ultimates. Ooh, that jump. Weeha able to get himself away just in time. And Yonasamfan misses that initiation, but it's still NiP taken down this tower most likely. I mean,
but it's also Slark rotating away immediately. I think even they knew the dive was coming through. They knew that somebody was going to have to die for this, and it's going to be Yapsor as well as the tier 1 tower. But immediately the Slark disengages and he starts farming, and I think that's actually really important. The fact that Exist right now is getting free CS, and it's very unlikely that NiP can make a quick rotation away, to the top lane. They're focused right now on bottom.
All right. I guess Balkan Bear is just going to focus on the top part of the lane for now. Oh, managers lets me know. He says that Hook is this is going to be their roster until after TI. So you can say Hook is no longer a stand-in.
There you go.
So send back the spin. Forces out the spin, but is the spin being down going to allow Balkan Bears to be able to do something here? It doesn't look like it. They still have Omni Slash and a Juggernaut who's very farmed with Phase Boots and Mask of Madness, so they still can't even go on him. They just kind of prevent a little bit of mana, but that's about it. Meanwhile, Limp with the double damage rune. Hey, Balkan Bears are sitting back, hiding underneath their towers, or staying away from NiP in general. Might as well use that double damage to push, I guess.
Yeah, most definitely. Turn to take objectives as a team, and I'm actually kind of surprised that Era didn't just go to the mid lane there, but he's the only one that can actually try to defend against the Glimpse play since the Radiant Observer Ward is down. So they made their best move, but Glimpse is going to send one person back. It looks like it might be Rubik unless Levi goes down to the Axe.
Oh, they jump in. They tried to actually get the pick off there on the tower, but Juggernaut was able to hit the deny. Nice attempt from Weehaw, but it's not good enough. 2-4 now. 12 minutes in.
So, I mean, good rotation back, getting the deny, and Slark is still kind of running on bare bones right now. I think it's going to be just like treads, drums of endurance for him. Just try to get some attack speed and movement speed and get involved somehow. But yeah, Rubik was glimpsed back. He's kind of caught down on bottom lane by himself while the two-man pressure comes on the tier 1 top.
All right, Balkan Bears, they need something big here. And it's going to be all up to Hook. He's got to hit those RPs. They're going to jump in. Weehaw is just trying to force them to turn, but NiP do not take the bait. Weehaw, he knew, like Ninjas in Pajamas were backing up. The only play they possibly had to catch anything was for him to jump forward and pop the Supernova and hope beyond hope that NiP turn and try and kill the egg. And that did not happen. NiP read the attempt by Balkan Bears very well, do not get caught, and continue to farm up.
Yeah, I think they've got a pretty good amount of understanding of how BBC want to move around this game. They're reading it really well, and even though the smoke was under the Observer Ward, they're still just finding opportunities, like this one in the river. Like, this is Era blind. He doesn't have any support, but he knows where they're going to be as a group, and he knows where they're going to be isolated. And in this case, he does get a kill that favors him dramatically. Now, Ogre will go down in turn, but, I mean, he's working towards Soul Ring. It's not like he's an ambitious support. The death doesn't really cost him too much, and Exist does pounce. I like this kind of pounce because it doesn't break through the trees, because you go onto the cliff, the impassable terrain. But still,
he's got another pounce? Oh, he's going to actually get out. Meanwhile, they got the Rubik kill. They had to blow the RP for it, it looks like, but they got a kill on a Rubik, pick off, and don't give anything in return. In the meantime, Ninjas in Pajamas are actually wasting a lot of time messing around with the trees.
So the Dire Quarter actually died where Slark was. Was he the one to hit that, or?
I don't know. I guess so.
I mean, presumably. He definitely was in the right area. So
I didn't see that happen. That's weird.
Yeah, a Johnson fan was looking for his Force Staff, and they were all diving in the trees, and either that or a Wandering Creep got a lucky salary boost today. I don't know.
Weird situation. Exist. So this feels like a necessity. He's going for the drums, and I'm going to presume he's going the SNY build after this, solely because he won't have the opportunity to go for pickoffs. They're just too far behind that eventually NiP are going to, with their gold lead, 5-man into Balkan Bears, and so he's got to get a little bit more team fight potential and a little less pickoff with the traditional Blink and Shadow Blade. The rotation is not going to be able to get the Slark. It doesn't look like. Yo, some fun. Just off the marker there. Middle lane actually skewer back. Nice pick off. Hanskin. He's going to go down here. Hook may be the return kill, but never mind. Limp does not have Sonic Wave. He used it earlier trying to kill the Slark, so they miss out on another opportunity.
Yep, and as we see, they're not able to glimpse back the Queen of Pain, but still finding that nice opening there and just kind of giving more opportunities for Slug to farm. And the build that you're talking about with the stats and the attack speed and movement speed is really important for Exist because it'll allow him to stay on his targets for Essence Shift. You see, he's not even maxing out Dark Pact here. He's going to be maxing out Essence Shift because it's all that's going to keep him in this game, is his ability to gain agility per hit. And if he has the drums popped, he gets that bonus attack speed. He also gets agility baseline. Then you get the SNY, you get movement speed, you get attack speed. You just stay on your target and you keep hitting. And as long as he keeps hitting, he's going to build up those stacks. And really, that's the only way that he actually makes an impact in this game for now. Later on, he'll be able to build up farm. He'll be able to get a ton of items that just naturally do things. But for now, it's just max out attack speed, movement speed, stay on target, and get empowered. That's how he's going to deal the damage.
All right, well, we've got a 30-second pause here. Let's talk about the stakes. For those guys who are just now joining us, this is Balkan Bears versus Ninjas in Pajamas, a best of 3 that is starting off here in game number 1. The stakes at hand. One of these two teams is going to the LAN finals for the Dota 2 Champions League here in Germany, and the other one is going to have to watch from home. And it all comes down to this single best of 3. So Balkan Bears, for those guys who actually didn't see and wondering where Hellraisers are at, Hellraisers unfortunately couldn't get visas for Germany, as we've seen multiple times now for Hellraisers. Not being able to get visas is killing their team. So because of that, they went ahead and forfeited their match, and Dota 2 Champions League replaced them with Balkan Bears instead. So Hellraisers very upfront about that, letting people know, okay, if we're not going to be there, you might as well give it to the 4th place team.
Yeah, and now BBC have made it through. So, I mean, they took out their last round. They're pushed on to this lower bracket final. And, I mean, they are just 2 wins away from actually going from a game that they shouldn't have won, a finals that they shouldn't be playing in, and actually pulling forward. Exists. Nice ultimate, actually. Despite being controlled and hit by the Sonic Wave, the fact that he's in
oh, nice RP. He could skewer them back, but no, the Omni Slash. He's stunned up. He pulls them in. Supernova explodes, but it's not going to be enough damage. In fact, so does some fun. He's going to know. He takes out from the damage over time. Either way, Balkan Bears on the retreat. They get a double kill out. The 2 supports, the only one who live on the side of Balkan Bears. That looked to be such an excellent setup, but Seal Kid with the nice response there. The Fire Blast as well as the Omni Slash kind of stall up the skewer from the Ogre Magi.
Yeah,
or from the Magus, rather, sorry.
Oh. Yeah, it's just, I mean, really a great opportunity, but it goes to waste just because of their farm disadvantage. They have no items. If they had items and they were a little bit tankier, they could make plays like that and survive from them. But instead, they just get crushed by a big, bad Juggernaut. Mask of Madness level 11. His Sanjin Yasha pretty much about ready to go. And Orchid on the Queen of Pain already. Wow, that's a fast Orchid. I mean, I like the fact that the Slurk was able to get the quick Shadow Dance despite not blocking the 2 spells that hit him. It blocked any other spells to follow through. It's almost set up the most beautiful RP you can ask for this game, but in the end, it just didn't chain up the way they needed it to, and NiP are still in a pretty commanding position in this game, especially now with this Orchid on Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and potentially Aegis on Era. In fact, I say potentially, it is going to be. Nobody from Balkan Bears are rotating over to stop this. They don't realize it. Well, Weehaw realizes, but just slightly too late. The double damage on Era allows him to take Roshan just way too quickly, and Aegis for him. And he can now afford to go into the SNY. Top lane, what happened there? Disruptor gets denied after Limp tried to jump him.
Yeah, I mean, just went for the Orchid play there against him, but obviously Weehaw being nearby, 1 hit to take that kill away from him. And otherwise, still really good for objective control. We do see not only the Roche going down, but Era just farming up a storm with the Ancient stacks here. I've seen him do it really efficiently with Bloodlust and Empower. Now he's just doing it with Mask of Madness and a support to help him out. So really just building himself up very quickly here, and he's going to be very involved with this next set of items. I mean, with this kind of an advantage, you just, go for the Scotty so you're unkillable.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think a BKB is a necessity. Sometimes we see Juggernauts go for it, but not really necessary in this game. When you're already ahead, I think you are able to survive through the magic damage just fine as long as you go for a Scotty, right? I don't think you can go... I think it's a bit too risky if you were go to, like, try and pick up a Basher or something like that. I think that would be an unnecessary risk. Just raw stats is good enough.
And so, just farming up the Radiant jungle now, taking good control of the map here. Dire have some great wards out. Still the top one that we were talking about before, that's about to expire. But they've got one covering each rune. So they know exactly what BBC are up to in this mid lane. They're kind of converging for a single opportunity, a nice RP, but that's still just not going to be an opportunity given up by NiP. They're farming really spread. They're making sure that they have the heroes that can respond quickly in the right position. For example, Limp has his Orchid, Axe has his Blink and Force Staff. Like, these are the heroes that are most vulnerable, but with their items, they should be fine.
Smoke up. 3-man smoke here from Ninjas in Pajamas. Looks like they're going to rotate around, and this could be perfect. Getting up on this cliff right here. They could catch out Balkan Bears, who almost seem like they're going to go for a smoke play of their own. Hook pops the smoke here. They're going to pull him back, prompt everything, but no, he actually blinks away. Now the Supernova, they've caught two. That is Ninjas in Pajamas giving up the fight. They can't do anything else. They're actually going to come in. Jonas Samfan manages to get two, and oh my god, they're actually winning the engagement. Omnislash just cleans through everybody there. Now he's going to be able to get onto Levy as well. Gets that kill. Yapzor going to be cleaned up probably. They do get Jonas Samfan thanks to Weehaw, as he is now on his way out. Should be fine. But oh my god, the call plus the stolen empower that was given to Juggernaut. I'm not sure if he had that at the beginning of the fight or what, but my god. Era just cleaned up with that Omnislash.
Yeah, that was the very first thing that Hanskin was able to do, was when he lifted up the Magnus, he stole Empower and threw it onto Era right before the Omni came out. So amazing damage coming out from Juggernaut. This is just a very powerful synergy, and one that now the Magnus just has to cover with Shockwave almost. Like, they actually, I feel, slightly were emphasizing the Magnus pick so that the Juggernaut couldn't have it on his team, but via the Rubik, they're kind of making that synergy work anyway. So Hook's got a Shockwave or Skewer a little bit more frequently, and just avoid that altogether, or these Omni Slashes are just going to be unstoppable. And he did go for the Basher into Abyssal. He's got the Aegis still. He's feeling really good this game, and as long as he doesn't get caught out in like a Static Storm before he's able to Omni Slash, then he still should be able to do a lot with this aggressive item pickup.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair enough. With the Aegis that you go the more offensive build, I think that's fine. But do you go for the full Abyssal Blade, or do you just get Basher and then sell your Ring of Aquila for the Scotty? I kind of like that idea.
Options. I'm sure that it's probably the safer play, but if he's confident in his teammates who are actually getting caught out right now, it's Blink Skewer's back, and just Glimpse plays gonna actually interrupt Seal Kid. So yeah, he's stuck out, and he will go down too. So just overall, a really great engagement for BBC. But yeah, essentially, the idea is if you're really trusting in your teammates, the Queen of Pain and the Axe, to start fights with good initiation, the call, the silence, that's going to actually enable you to go for the aggressive item. But if you're a little uncertain about it, just go for the stats, go for the tank, and almost another deny on that tier 1. But it's going to go to the Slark, and they're going to just disengage.
So Ninjas in Pajamas let loose some of that 10,000 gold lead that we had earlier. They also had about almost 10,000 experience lead as well, but a lot of that's going to be given up with the last engagement, with pick-off after pick-off. This also means that we're going to have some critical items here for Balkan Bears rolling in. We've got the Eul Scepter on the way for the Lina. We also have... What is Weehawk going for with this Ogre Club? Is that... That's not a BKB, right? I mean, I go Halberd on my Phoenix, but that's in pubs.
Yeah, I think Halberd's right. I actually think it's good against the Queen of Pain, the Juggernaut. You said yourself, the Juggernaut doesn't want to go for BKB this game, so Halberd might force him into it.
Oh, Weehaw's going to be found here. Omnislash, quick cleanup. Now he's going to run in for 2 as Levy unable to get the kinetic field in time and will be right-clicked down by Era.
Yeah, he's just unstoppable right now. I mean, he's even going to farm up the enemy's Ancients. Like, he's just going to get all the farm in the world. And I like the idea that BBC could really just come back with some good Blink RP plays, the Empowered Slark. I feel like they had a very reserved draft when it came to the lanes, but I felt like they had the potential to bring it back. But the amount of farm that NiP have just render that strategy irrelevant for a very long time. It's going to be like 3 or 4 major fights BBC have to take, and they have no means of doing so with these items.
Yeah, and getting picked off is certainly not the way to come back into this game. They're going to start with 1, go for 2, but Hook is already over the cliff. Anyway, with 2 down on the side of Balkan Bears, Ninjas Pajamas feel perfectly comfortable pushing in and taking the tier 2 in the middle tower.
So, I mean, they're going to try to forward it up, delay this push, pressure, maybe go for the RP, but, I mean, they would have to have everything perfect to try to take a fight in this position, and, I mean, NiP are already all there. That's the big thing, is, like, you have 3 people respawn, 2 people coming into it. You're just trying to rally the troops. You're trying to actually get into that position where our NiP are already ready to spawn, ready to respawn, and they're just in the more aggressive stance right now. They're going to control the jungle, they're going to control your towers, and BBC, they essentially have to smoke to make the play happen.
See what they find here. Whoa, Exist is actually going to be able to jump onto Limp here, but the blink is up in a second. Exist doesn't want to try for it, too afraid of Ninjas in Pajamas' response, and you can understand why. The axe was on his way. Exist is hoping to be able to find somebody, but it's not going to happen. Ninjas in Pajamas are sitting back and not going to be caught.
Yep, just illusions everywhere. The smoke fails, and I really feel like that's the only way that they're going to be able to engage on their terms, is really going for the smoke to see play. But now that last one is down for 4 minutes. There's none on the courier, none on the heroes. 4 minutes from now, they can go for the next smoke play, but as it stands, NiP, they can just choose their initiation so much better. It's unless they walk into an RP, they're just going to be able to kind of single people out, blink, get the as slow as well as the silence on a single target, and then isolate them with the Omni Slash. So overall, Era just able to do so much work this game, and he's going for that build that you prefer, going for the Scotty to build up his HP pool.
Wise Era, he knows to listen to me. He knows. So he's actually got his Scotty straight up now. And can now start going for the Abyssal Blade, if he so chooses. Probably will. Abyssal Blade, and then what do you go for as your last item, essentially?
Against Halberd and Static Storm, if that is the case, I would say BKB is still a pretty solid pickup. It's not ideal, but it's going to be allowing you to stay on target and keep right-clicking despite the Halberd, which would otherwise be very frustrating.
Levy trying to get some control up, but the wards, you can see very offensive wards out from NiP. Or at least one offensive ward. Is that the only ward that they have? Damn, it is. NiP got to get some wards up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, just kind of holding on to them right now. Steel Kids, he's got a couple. They've got none in stock. Is that just really good dewarding coming out from the Radiant? Like, I'm sure this one probably was found one in the middle of the Radiant jungle. Otherwise, I don't really know. Maybe the high ground one here. We see that Observer Sentry combo on the plateau of the Radiant side. So, yeah, I'm assuming it's just really good dewarding coming from BBC as they look to retake their territory.
Balkan Bears throwing down a lot of defensive vision on their side now. Do have Era. He's farming up another stack here. Continuing, we do have Roshan is actually up right now. So they may just go from doing Ancients to doing Roshan, picking up an Aegis, and Era has the space for it, so this could be what allows them to be able to push down these last couple of tier 2s and maybe, just maybe, push uphill as well.
So we'll see right now. Exist farming up as quickly as he can, but realistically, with the Aegis pressure they're going to be witnessing very shortly, there's no item that he could pick up in that level, that amount of time. Like, he just kind of, he'll farm all he wants, but end of the day, he's stuck at Treads, Drums, and Sanjin Yasha for, I would say, a good amount of time. And it's going to be quite a while before he builds up past that. I mean, one good fight, that's different. If he stays alive for that assist gold, that'll be great. But as it is right now, these are the items he has to work with, and we'll see what he can do with them.
All right, well, we did see the attempt at a kill there. The Weehaw kind of harassed the Axe. Axe immediately teleports down to the bottom tier 1 tower, and they go for Roshan, seeing that numbers advantage. Now, we do have the Queen of Pain trying to make an initiation here. Hold up, gets the call on to Exist. They do have the Static Storm being laid down. Arrow wants to be able to get off the Omni Slash, but doesn't manage to. Meanwhile, Hook misses out on the RP, and he's going to die because of it as the Omni Slash cleans him up. 4 heroes down, and it's just the Slug, who now gets called up by Unison Fan. He found him, and he's going to try and kill him inside of these trees. Seal Kid has the stun ready to go. Exist is actually just going to battle Unison Fan, realizing that he can take this engagement, or can he? The rest of the support's coming in. They're stunning up Exist. They get the kill. Culling Blade to finish him off, and Balkan Bears lose everyone and gain nothing.
Wow, that's just a 5-man wipeout they didn't need to take. They tried to go for the Roach Pit, but the big thing here was the Queen of Pain on the high ground. They apparently didn't see Limp as he blink screamed past them, but what he did was get some good damage on the Phoenix and then finish him off with the Sonic Wave before he could Supernova, also canceling the Magnus's Blink Dagger, which then screwed over the Blink RP. So RP whiffs on the ground with his Blink on CD, and the Phoenix dies without Supernovaing. It's just a disaster, and it's all set up from Limp on the Queen of Pain. Now going on to Levy, and it's a chop. It's a dunk, and it is looking to be game one. Very favorable for NiP. Bottom racks in shambles, and really no strength to fight without the reverse polarity.
Yeah, certainly. Balkan Bears. Oh, Jabster comes forward. He's still going to fall here. They do manage to get the skewer back, but it's Hanskin, not Ninjas in Pajamas, are still ready to fight. They do get the Supernova out. Looks like it will survive. They'll have the explosion, but it'll end with a GG call. Balkan Bears give up game number one up against Ninjas in Pajamas, who almost managed to beat out Team Empire in the best of 5 they had earlier, but have a second chance at going to the D2CL LAN Finals in this best of 3.
Yeah, so just really good execution overall, and a pretty greedy draft from BBC. They wanted so many things to work in the mid game of this lineup. They drafted with the mindset of their fights. They drafted with how they were going to take engagements, but they didn't talk about how they were going to get there. They assumed their lanes would play out nicely, smoothly, and for Weehaw, that was true. Weehaw had a great laning phase, but that's about it. The Magnus wasn't able to stand against the Queen of Pain early on, and then of course the Slark just had one of the worst laning phases Exist could get.
Yep, so we're going to have a short break, and we'll have game number 2 between Ninjas in Pajamas and Balkan Bears in just a moment.